Sticking with digital assets, we just got somewhat of a warning about Bitcoin from investor and PayPal co-founder Peter Thiel. Here's him earlier this week sharing his opinion at a virtual event for members of the Richard Nixon Foundation.
Even though I'm sort of a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin maximalist person, I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin is also should also be thought in part of as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S., where it threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the U.S. dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it.
Joining us right now to talk Bitcoin, the upcoming public debut of Coinbase, and so much more is Anthony Pompliano, founder and partner at Pomp Investments. Pomp, it's great to see you this morning. I'm curious what your reaction was when you first heard Peter Thiel make the argument that Bitcoin represents effectively a national security problem, and that it is meant, or at least China is hoping, that it destabilizes the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see you again, Andrew. Thanks for having me. Look, I think that there's a couple of key pieces to this. First is right before that clip, Peter was talking about the euro and how the euro was kind of this Chinese weapon as an attempt to weaken the dollar. And so he was kind of going through the evolutions of this. The second thing is he clearly stated that he's pro-crypto, he's a pro-Bitcoin maximalist. And what I think we've got to understand, everyone in the world has an opportunity to use this, just like the internet. It's an open, decentralized protocol. And so just because other countries who may be adversarial or not to the United States are going to use it, that doesn't mean that he's taking an anti-Bitcoin stance. I think actually it's quite the contrary. I think what he's doing is he's saying, listen, there's a global competition happening here. And there are other countries who are going to try to use this to destabilize or to financially attack the United States. What we need is the United States to be the leader here. We need to embrace this, and we need to make sure that we use this technology to continue to be the leader on the global stage. Right. And so that's where I think you see his pro-Bitcoin stance really coming through is there's a global competition. Let's get the United States in the game and make sure that we continue to further our position on that global stage.
Well, so but Anthony, let me ask you about that, because if I'm a policymaker, there's a couple of ways to go here. One is to say, and let's also recognize right now that a majority of the new Bitcoins that are being mined, that's being mined in China. Let's just stipulate that that's the case currently. From a policy perspective, you could say, okay, we want to do a lot more mining in the United States for Bitcoin if we wanted to somehow, transfer effectively in this competition or try to get ahead of it in that way. If you're a regulator, you could say, okay, we got to figure out a way to shut this thing down because we think of it in that way. Or actually, maybe we don't want to shut it down, but maybe we want to crowd it out by creating our own, either using a stable coin or some kind of digital U.S. dollar, right? I mean, I think those are the three options on the table. Do you see them differently?
Yeah, look, I think that, again, the United States is taking a very unique perspective here. So the Digital Currency Group recently launched a new mining pool here in the United States. It's now a top 10 mining pool already. So we're trying to work to build the infrastructure very quickly. We've seen states like Kentucky go out and say, look, we're actually going to give tax incentives to bring miners here. We're seeing oil and gas with companies like Great American Mining who are saying, look, we're going to capture flare gas. We're going to turn it into this Bitcoin mining power. And so what I think you're seeing is this almost kind of revolution when it comes to energy and Bitcoin mining in the United States. And so I think that we're going to continue to see that build out happen. Now, when it comes to policy and kind of the political realm, we have senators and congressmen that hold Bitcoin that are very pro-Bitcoin. And so what I think is likely to happen here is they're going to continue to push the pace of innovation and to embrace this stuff. Yes, there will be digital currencies. Every currency in the world is going to get digitized, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be kind of a winner take all in the sense that a digital dollar will be anti-Bitcoin or Bitcoin's success means that the dollar will fail either. And so I think what we've got to really understand here is that when you have an open decentralized protocol, which Bitcoin is, all of these digital fiat currencies are not, that open decentralized protocol is going to be adopted by countries around the world. And we need to take that leadership position. And I think that we've got a lot of politicians and regulators here in the United States that are working hard to make sure that that happens.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.